I would say the biggest change in the psyche has been among the students, which quite honestly is exactly where we would want it to be. I feel the students are truly enjoying the new instructional model that we have in place, which features a lot more small group instruction than we have in the past. Um, but right behind that, the teachers also are really enjoying the small group instruction, the way Learning Ovations and A2I has set it up, because they're having an opportunity to really get to know the students at a level that's deeper and richer than it was in the past. I mean, our teachers were always good at getting to know our students. They were always good at getting to know the families and the parents. But from an instructional level, they're really getting to know the nuts and bolts of how these kids think and where now we need to adjust our instruction to address that way of thinking. Often in society, people look at 4, 5, 6-year-old students or kids as I don't want to say an annoyance or something along those lines, but they're around and you tolerate them, and if you need to, you can kind of give them an order. And as a 4 or 5 or 6-year-old, they should listen to an adult, right? And we teach them to listen to adults. But they really appreciate when it's their turn to think and share, and when adults look at them as their, not just as a little person, but um, as a thinking entity that's capable of producing unique thought and sharing ideas and having their unique perspective. And by working in these smaller groups, the students have more opportunities to share and talk and engage, not only with the teacher, but with each other. And it's not done in what I think is a traditional parental-child relationship of, supervisor or subordinate type thing. When they're in those little groups, it's a much more open, friendly environment that the kids really start to flourish. Well, the possibilities are endless, and that's the amazing thing about teachers just in general, and that profession, is that you never know where your influence ends, and how the establishing the foundation for reading among a population of 4, 5, 6-year-olds, how that will impact their lives later. You never know what opportunities they will have later in life, what job opportunities, what career opportunities, what differences they will make in the future based on the fact that we were able to establish a foundation for learning at this level. I think one of the most important things that I like to get across is the idea that this is our first year. And with any new initiative, with anything that's new, out of the box, kind of beta system, there are obstacles, there are challenges, there are things that we haven't completely worked through yet. If you come and you were to sit in my meetings, you'd see us battling and working through and having those conversations, trying to really figure out a way to make this work. In the end, I would say that the partnership with United Way has been an amazing resource to help the work that we're doing here. It's very special to us to know that there's an entity out there like the United Way that's looking at what we're doing and kind of taking notice. It's certainly a source of pride among us. Very often we do our job and we do it to the best of our ability, but not because the United Way is there, or not because of any other reason other than we believe that this is our calling and this is what's going to make the difference in the lives of our kids. But it is certainly refreshing to get a little bit of the spotlight along the way and have somebody kind of recognize that the work that we're doing is valuable and that someone else thinks we're making a difference. I think the transition into smaller groups is exactly what the students want. Exactly, and they may not have been able to verbalize that, but they respond instantly to being in these smaller groups, having more attention from the teacher, from the adults, from the educators, and that attention being that respectful, open environment in which the kids are able to speak and express their feelings and what they think they just read or what they just learned, or the pride in recognizing that they're moving forward and that they're progressing and they actually can see that about themselves. So they've really embraced the small groups. It was more us as the adults having to change our system, and what we're finding is that that system is the one that is a lot more natural to the students and the one that they respond to. If I were to show you a, New York State, the official New York State 3 to 8 assessment in math, pick a grade level, it doesn't matter, and you would open it up, you would very quickly realize that the grade 3 to 8 math assessment is also a reading assessment. In order for the students to do well, they need to be able to read. They need to be able to read and dissect word problems and then take those ideas and use them to build a response, hopefully a correct one. But if they can't decipher what the question is asking them, if they can't figure out what those words are telling them, they don't have a chance. And we, even though our students here at Dixon don't take the 3 through 8 assessments, we're just down in kindergarten and first grade. We do word problems, and these kids are expected to answer word problems, and if they can't read, they're going to struggle. So we are seeing a carryover from perhaps a more progressive outcome from our literacy lessons now carry over to the math, because that ability to read a little bit better also means that they're now able to decipher these problems and think differently as they approach the math. And it's not just reading and math, it carries over to all aspects. We teach them how to read, and that's often the focal point, but the reality is it's not truly about the reading, it's about the ability to think. And very often we use reading text as a way to input information into ourselves. Students are no different, and as a result, their ability to decipher what's coming in, think about it, and then respond is the key, right? It's a type of communication, and looking forward, their ability to read at higher levels is also transitioning to them thinking at higher levels.